Okay. The first photos that I received was on August 27th, 2006. And it was a Sunday morning, and it was a picture of Johnny bound and gagged. There was another photograph of 3 boys on a bed, all bound and gagged. And then there was the picture of a man. It was a black and white photo, kind of a rough-looking photo, and the man appeared to be dead in the picture. And I didn't know it at the time, but apparently there were 4 or 5 other people that also received the same packet of pictures. And the one photograph of the boy alone that was bound and gagged, that photograph was definitely Johnny.
And how old was Johnny when you received the photo in 2006? He was kidnapped in the early 80s. How old was he when this picture was taken? Did you figure that out?
We think that he was photographed, and that picture was only maybe a few hours or a couple of days after he was kidnapped. Because and what we were looking at that point was naturally his features and everything, but the length of his hair was exactly the same as it was at the time he was kidnapped. And then there were more pictures that surfaced as the months went on of many children. We've got over 500 pictures now. Not all of them are Johnny. There's a few in the batches of pictures that are Johnny. We have a few photos that actually show a perpetrator in the photo with a child. And those have all been made available to the FBI in Washington. I bypassed the local law enforcement here.
Yeah, good idea. Jim, where did these photos come from? Because I know you work closely with Noreen on this case, this part of the case.
We don't exactly know where they came from. We know who gave them to us or how they got here. Tim White was involved with that. And at the same time, though, another batch of pictures showed up in Omaha. And I was alerted to it, but because of the natures of the pictures, I couldn't get the backing I needed because it would have depicted what could be considered child pornography. And if I would have went and picked them up, I would have been a sitting duck to get arrested with these pictures. And they were available to us for 72 hours. And then they went underground again. So there was more out there. And we don't really know why this came to happen, but it had to do with a lot of things that Noreen and myself were working on that finally got somebody to bring it out.
Okay, did those pictures lead to anything else, Noreen, in this case? I mean, the pictures start coming out. What happened afterwards?
Well, I posted a number of the pictures of the children on my website, which is www.johnnygosch.com. And from that, we've been getting calls on a regular basis where somebody will remember something or they'll have some information they want to share. We also shared the photographs with the National Center for Missing Children in hopes to identify some of the kids that were unknown to us. And so it has generated information to come our way. And that's the good thing about a website. It's accessible to people anywhere in the world.
Yeah, and I know that, and this is a question I've always failed to ask, is that throughout your quest to get your son back, you've met a lot of other people in the same situation as you. Can you tell us about some of those experiences, some of the other people who found themselves in the same boat as you?
The story is almost replicated identically. In cases where children were kidnapped, boys or girls, and police departments just more or less shut down, the parents were left with the biggest do-it-yourself package they've ever encountered. Lack of funds is what stops most investigations, and just plain fear and exhaustion with the parents. Many times the law enforcement tell the parents just to keep quiet. But I've been in touch with parents all over the country over the years, and the story is about the same. When the police chief told me to just stay at home and not talk to the media or anything, I didn't listen to him. That was my child. But many people are very afraid of somebody with a title and a badge and a gun. And they will just back down. And that's what they count on. When they involve a police department in a cover-up, they count on parents backing down.
And the unfortunate thing, as Jim Rothstein has found out, most parents do. And, Jim, what can we do to encourage people to stay in this fight a little bit longer and not to believe authority? Many people fall, like Noreen said, are frightened of an FBI badge. What do you recommend?
Well, this is very true. And that was one of the reasons we were successful at that time. And I say we because I wasn't the only detective that worked this in New York City. It was that we listened to the people. We dealt with them. We did not lie to them. And you're going to find another phenomena here that comes out where you'll see these parents of these victims are placated to believing they're doing a great thing. They're given TV shows. They're given positions and form organizations and all this, and oh, you're doing great now, don't say anything, we'll take care of it. Well, in the meantime, all they're doing is shutting them up, you know. And the people, and I've heard this hundreds of times from parents, oh, I can't say nothing, you know, the cops will get mad at me and then they won't investigate. The opposite is true. Be on their case, go public, let them know, give the cops names. And the greatest thing of all is, I can't use the words to express it because they'd shut you down, but the cops sit there and tell you, we can't talk about this, it's an ongoing investigation. Ask the cop, show me that law that says you can't talk about this. This is what happens. The people are conned, and they get to believe in, oh, this feel-good thing, oh, the cops are really doing their job, when they're doing the exact opposite. And that's why I say Noreen's case is so important. They tried that with her, and Noreen basically ran them right out of her house. And this is what people should do. And then go to the media, and the ones that will even write something about it, or the national television. But most of all, it's people like you, Greg, who have these talk shows that get the story out there, and we need more of that on a higher level.
Yeah, and like you said before, this problem's not going to go away. And like Noreen said, she's not going to stop trying to get to the truth about what happened to her son, as well as in the process helping other people find their lost children, as well as trying to stop it from happening right today. And, you know, one of the things that I always remember, Jim, when you were on my show one time, you mentioned, as we're speaking today, you can be rest assured, and Jim, these are your words paraphrased, that there are children being kidnapped right during the time we're speaking right now somewhere in this country. That's not an exaggeration, is it?
No, it's not. And again, I like to give examples. When I first moved back here to Minnesota, there was a lady who came to me from a town about 50 miles north. Her child had been missing for 8 years. And I said, why didn't you go to the police? She says, well, we knew they weren't going to do anything, and we thought they'd come after us. And I said this lady, well, where'd you get my name? She says, oh, we knew about you from the cases you had out here before. We had another thing where a girl was killed in New York, and I knew she was from a town called Rockville, Minnesota. And when we contacted the local authorities that we had a body, but I didn't have the name, they never found, the parents or whoever it was never reported their child missing. So this just goes on. We had another case where a guy in New York committed suicide, and when we followed it back, we found out he was like 30 years old when he committed suicide, that he in fact had been kidnapped at the age of 13 in Texas. So this is the way it works. And it is a sad case when people can't go to law enforcement.